So it's that time of year again where it's test time for the L322. It's not an MOT here in Ireland. Normally it's an NCT, National Car Test, if your car is a private vehicle. Here though, the L322 goes through something called a CVRT, Commercial Vehicle Road Test. But suffice to say, this year it failed. Now usually the L322 gets a glowing report from the CVRT testers. They normally say how much of a lovely Jeep it is. But this year it has come back with a fail. So I'll show you guys a close-up picture of this, but basically we've got brake pipes on the rear left, which was actually an advisory last year. And then we also have control arm bushes on the front lower arms and the rearmost ones, which I think are the curved wishbone type ones. So both sides for that. Now, as I said, that brake pipe was an advisory last year, I'm pretty sure. And being a very responsible Range Rover owner, what I did when I had that advisory was go on Autodoc and actually ordered myself some replacements. So I have these ready here to go on. However, I actually completely forgot that I'd done that, and I placed another Autodoc order earlier this week for exactly the same parts, which haven't arrived yet, but will be arriving sometime later this week. I did also order Lemforder lower arms for the front as well. They haven't arrived yet, so we'll be tackling those when they turn up. But for now, in today's video, we're going to try and throw on these rather complicated looking Flexi Cross hardline brake pipes, which go on the back on both sides. So yeah, let's get the wheels off, get it up in the air and take a look. This is where we see if the jack has got more travel than the suspension on the Range Rover. Most jacks don't. Okay, been a while since this wheel's been off, I think. Not too bad though. Okay, I'm going to drop it down onto the axle stand under the rear subframe. So got it. So this is the Flexi we're going to be trying to replace today. As you can see, he's handily marked it there, the tester, with a bit of spray paint it looks like. These small hardline sections are what he has taken issue with, and they are quite bubbly to be fair, so you just want to place the whole Flexi, makes it a lot easier. To be honest with you, at some point in the very near future, the whole rear brake line system probably wants to be replaced, probably from about halfway back in the car all the way back to this joint here, and the same on the other side, because these hard lines are also just as crusty, maybe a little bit more so, but the tester probably can't see those very easily from underneath. So if I can get underneath and have a better look at these main hard lines running back to the front, then I will do that as well. But yeah, for now, let's focus on getting this all cleaned up and get this off. These little securing bolts look like prime breaking off material. Oh no, take it back. Everything's kind of covered in like Ireland's kind of soft peaty soil under here, so maybe that's kind of preserving everything. I don't know, I'll take whatever I can get. Not bad. I don't know if these brackets are on the new... Oh, I'm guessing they are, because that's just broke off. It's not very good condition, but hopefully, yeah, they're on the new pipe. They should be. Right, okay, I'm gonna get my brake pipe spanners and see if we can get this guy off. Brake pipe spanners, very useful for doing any kind of jobs like this. I'll put a link in the description for these. Well, the risk is that this nut is completely stuck to the brake pipe and it twists the brake pipe off when you undo it, so I'm gonna give this a really good scrub. And I might even get my little gas torch out and give that a little bit of a blow. Looks like you made a flamethrower. Don't think it likes working upside down. Let's give that a go. It's not very hot, just threatened a bit. Okay, so which way are we going? That way. There we go. Works every time. Okay, that's off. Okay, now the bottom end on the caliper is a big nut which goes into the caliper, which is good. It's kind of hard to show, it's right at the bottom of the caliper here. Yeah, 14. So we can get a proper 6-sided socket on there and get it off like that. And the new pipe comes with a new bolt and copper washers, but you just want to make sure that you recover the copper washer off the bottom of this caliper there, which is stuck to the pipe there, so that's fine. There we go, there's our old rusty flexi / hardline. Just remember to have new Ed China gloves, so I'm going to put these on. They also happen to be Autodoc orange. They match the channel sponsor. Before we dive deeper into this brake job on the L322, let me quickly shout out the channel sponsor that actually helps make jobs like this possible, Autodoc. Autodoc have asked me to tell you about their app, which is super helpful for keeping on top of your automotive maintenance. Autodoc is Europe's top online car parts shop with over 5.8 million parts, 1,400 brands, and they're in 27 countries. Seriously, whether you're chasing obscure turbo gaskets for a 40-year-old Land Rover or just replacing your brake pads, they've probably got it. So just download the Autodoc app, pick your car, and you're off. It's as easy as that. And look, here's some parts I ordered from Autodoc for this very car. Lovely big chunky Lemforder lower arm there, about half the price that you would pay on pretty much any other retailer that I could find online. So yeah, go and check it out. So yeah, if you're spannering on your own projects or you just even want to dodge that garage markup, check out the Autodoc app. There's a link in the description. Use my code and yeah, get yourself some nice cheap parts. Right, so we've got to find the right side. LH7465, could that mean left hand? Oh, they both have LH. LH7045. Okay, which one's which? Yeah, it's going to be this one. Looks right to me. Yeah, so that's the same roughly as our old one. It's going to go across like that. Very nice. Looks good quality. I love Delphi stuff. And yeah, we get a nice new bolt and copper washers there as well to use, so happy days. So I'm going to reattach on the bottom first, and so what we're going to do is take one of these washers off, pass that through the bottom of the new pipe, pop the other washer on the other end, pass our pipe up through there. Get that started in there like that. So, it looks like, unfortunately it doesn't come with the new clips, so we're going to have to try and reuse these old things. So actually I might have a better solution than this. I'll be back in a minute. Aha! Knew I had these. So these are a relic from the old Green 130 Cummins project. Now, these are stainless steel P-clips, rubber-lined P-clips that I used to run the fuel lines on the 130. So I think these are going to do a much better job of holding these brake pipes in place than these crappy plastic things that are falling apart. So let's give it a go. So what size do we need first? I knew I had these somewhere. So it looks like that kind of size is probably going to be about right. And our little bolts, standard bolts, will pass through that perfectly as well. So yeah, that's going to do an absolutely lovely job of holding that in place. Better than factory. Yeah, perfect. Happy days. So giving this thread a really good brush up and the pipe underneath. So I'm going to get him back into place. Then we'll tighten up our little P-clips. I'll push that up there as far as I can. Pull this down away. And that works beautifully. I'm so glad I remembered I had those, because could not be better. So the tester actually only failed it on this side, but seeing as I've got the part for the other side, got all the parts out, and it's not currently raining, I'm going to jack the other side up and do that as well. We're going to need to bleed both sides once we get this done, but we'll do the pipe first and then we'll do the bleeding all at once. So let's move around to the other side. So I was just having a look at my Cooper tyres here. As some of you guys know, I've been around the channel for a while. I've been running these Cooper 83 Discoverer Sport 2s since about when I got the truck. I put these on in January 2021, so that's, you know, over 4 years now. And in that time they've done around 35,000 miles, maybe 40,000 miles. And the tread, although not as good as it was when they were new, is actually still pretty good. There's still at least sort of 4 or 5 millimeters left on there. However, I was just having a look around the tyres as I'm about to put this one back on again. And unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have to be replacing the tyre sooner rather than later. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a huge split in the outer layer of rubber here, kind of around this seam. And it's kind of bulging and splitting in a few different places. One down here as well, and that does not look good at all. All of the rubber on this side close to the rim also looks kind of like dry rotted. It's also very fine cracks all the way around. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be looking for a set of new tyres sooner than I thought. So yeah, not great news, but on the plus side, it does mean I get to do one of my favourite activities, which is tyre shopping. So yeah, anyway, let's get these brakes bled up and get looking online. So this job just got way bigger, guys. What I feared would happen, happened, and the steel brake pipe here that connects onto the new Flexi that we just installed started leaking because I disturbed it. It's quite rusty, and now when you press on the brakes, you get little drips of fluid from this line. So it definitely needs replacing. Now, unfortunately, that's a reasonably big job on the L322. It means that I've got to go underneath, drop the tank guard off from under here on this side, and then I'm probably going to cut and join the pipe back here somewhere halfway down the car, put some new Cooper nickel line all the way in up to there. So yeah, big job. Hopefully I can get it done this weekend. Yeah, joys. So on the L322, all the brake lines kind of run underneath this fuel tank guard. You've got 2 fuel tank guards in the L322 because the tank kind of, it's like a saddle shape, goes over the exhaust and the rear prop shaft. So you've got a guard on each side. So I'm dropping this one down. Hopefully we'll be able to see the full length of that brake line and see just how rusty it is, how far back. Right, so that thing out the way. Ooh. Got a nice collection of muck in the bottom of that, which will have to be cleaned out. So yeah, we've got one of these on each side of the fuel tank on the L322, guarding it, which is good. Nice solid bit of plastic. Okay, now under here we can see the full extent of the rusty pipes that need replacing. So our new brake pipe's up there, you can just see it. It joins on here. And this guy's the one that's leaking. He runs over the top to there, where you can see my finger. And all this down here is really crusty looking. Get my torch in the right place. There we go. Yeah, just absolute crust here. So this all needs replacing, this all needs replacing. There's a good bit here. That doesn't look too bad. This guy also needs replacing, as you guys can see. That's also really crusty. We come back all the way to here. Still needs replacing. All the way down here. Now back here, it starts to look a bit better. So I think what our next step will be probably is just to probably take off this plastic trim that runs all the way down the underneath of the pipes, get that out of the way, and then see how far back it goes. But it looks like we're going to be replacing a good chunk of it anyway. So now that plastic thing's out of the way, we can see there's further crust up here. That's no good. All the way back here, still pretty crusty. Back to the sort of towards the front part of the car here, they start to get pretty good. There's still paint on these. They still feel quite nice. So yeah, I'm thinking here will be a nice place to cut and join in new Cooper nickel pipe and run it backwards. So yeah, the plan will be to cut through it about there with my little tool, and then try and keep this all in one piece all the way to the end there. Bring it out so I can replicate it in conifer and just slot it back into place. And we have one very crusty, rusty length of original brake pipe. So yeah, this is pretty sure where the leak was at this end. And you can see just how crusty that is. Really bad all the way along here. So as you can probably see from behind me, the nice soggy cardboard, it's been doing you know, April things in Ireland, so sunshine and showers all day today. But I have pretty much finished with the brake line installation, the new brake lines. So we've got nice new flexi on both sides. That was the original plan, just to do that. But now we've ended up with full new hard lines all the way from the front, all the way up to here, to this side, and then all the way across the rear cross member, and then over to the other side. So we've basically got completely new brake lines for the rear of the L322 now, which is good. It's a job that I knew I was going to have to do at some point. I wasn't expecting to do it just this soon, but when I disturbed that piece of brake pipe there by putting the new flexi line in, I could see how rusty they were, so definitely a good thing to be doing them now. A new flexi on the driver's side here, going into our new piece of copper Cooper nickel going all the way over the top there. This is a bit easier to thread through than it looks. There's one clip on either side that you can just about get your hand into if you've not got two big hands to pop it back into, and then yeah, just bend it round out of the way, come up under here. So yeah, just got one more connection to make now. Down.
Yep.
Up.
Yep.
Down.
Yep.
Up. So the first part of our CVRT failure has been rectified. We've got new rear pipes all the way to the back, new rear flexis, new brake fluid and bled through. So brake pedals feeling nice, rear brakes working lovely. That part of the test is sorted. So the second part of the CVRT fail that we had was the lower rear arms on the front suspension. So the rearmost arm on the front suspension, which I think Land Rover actually refers to as the upper control arm for some reason. Anyway, it's this one, the weird banana shaped one. So we've got nice lem forwarder replacements to go on both sides. The problem is with them, this bush gets quite a lot of movement as the car suspension travels up and down, so that bush wears out quite quickly on these cars. So you can just replace the bush itself. You could actually press that out and put a new bush in there, but it's much easier just to get a whole new arm like this and throw it all on in one go. So that's what we're going to do today. And yeah, as you guys can probably see by the way the camera's being moved around, I've actually got my tame camera operator helping me today. So yeah, it's one of our first times using the gimbal, so hopefully it doesn't look too shaky. But no, she's doing a grand job. So I've got my jack under the lower control arm, as well as a axle stand under the body of the car, and the reason for that is I want to keep the suspension at basically ride height when we're installing the new arm. Calipers need a clean, these should be a lot shinier. Yeah, so one big bolt here to take out, and then there's as you guys can see, a hole in the end here which goes over the end of a ball joint on the bottom of the hub, so we need to get both of those out. Seen WD-40 anywhere? I found the WD-40 though. Right, fix that in a minute. Found what I wanted.
Good for the cleaning that.
Now I've got two. That one's a bit knackered. Oh, this is a copper one. That's right. I'll just use this guy. Yeah.
Copper's softer, right?
Yeah, it's like if you don't want to scratch whatever you're brushing on. Yeah, so I'm just trying to get this bottom nut to be nice and clean before I start trying to take it off. Right. Impact. What size is he? 21, I think. Yep. Okay, I'm not going to come all the way off with that, but most of the way. And next, we've got to try and get into this guy, which I don't think we can quite get our impact in, unfortunately. So it's going to be manpower. Yeah, that's a 21 as well. Right, so that's going to have to go there. Crikey. Blimey, O'Reilly. Yeah, just a bit awkward, this one. If you took the arch liner out, you'd probably get the gun in there. If anybody's desperate to use their impact gun. See over my shoulder?
Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, they really tucked this nut away on the inside there. Got to get this bolt out now. Again, you can't punch it from the other side. You've got to kind of undo it like that. And then probably try and wangle it out with some screwdrivers and pliers, etc. There we go. Right. Okay, so the next step is going to be splitting the lower arm here from the ball joint. That's got it. There we go. Okay, so there we go, there's our first one. And you can see, if you zoom in on that guy, this is the part of the bushing that's really failed. So you can see all these cracks around the bushing, both sides, which is what gives that movement in the front end. This can actually give symptoms a bit like brake judder when you hit the brakes, because this arm basically starts vibrating and moving around too much. So if you've got a brake judder, check out your lower arms first before you start replacing brake discs. Anyway, we can clean up the area, which is actually not too bad already, and throw on our new Lemforder replacement. So yeah, definitely the same part. Much the wrong side actually. So it's this guy, but yeah, that's the right part. So I'm going to pop that end in first. I think it's probably the best idea. No, actually, let's get that back in, and then we'll turn the wheel back to straight again. So yeah, we'll put this end in first, the bush end. I'll turn the wheel back round again. So let's get some copper slip. That's it. I'll do it.
Why do we use copper slip again?
Because then the next time that I come to do this job, it should be even easier to disassemble. Not that it was very difficult this time, but yeah, should make it just a little bit easier, a bit less seized, and it's cheap anyway, so you might as well do it. Okay, pop the nut on there loosely.
What do you need me?
Sorry, I got it.
Got it?
It's on, yeah.
Nice. Okay, got it
Yeah, so a little bit tricky. Once I let the jack out from underneath the arm, made it easier to swing the arm back into position so I could get the ball joint lined up. But yeah, working on really heavy Range Rover like this, on uneven gravel like this, is always a nightmare trying to jack it up. So yeah, definitely try and do it on concrete if you can. The car always just wants to try and fall off of every jack or jacking point that you've got. Okay, so bottom joint going in. Ouch, my ears. Right, so the ride height is pretty much where we want it to be. And the way we can check that is, get my tape measure. So as we know, the standard ride height of the L322 is around 486 millimeters from the top of the arch to the center of the wheel hub, and on the rear it's 496. So we can do a quick check to see that we're somewhere nearby. And at the moment, it looks like we need to come up a fair way still, because we're at probably about 550 at the moment. So we'll come up a little bit carefully. And there we're at about 525. Now on my car, I actually run around a 1-inch lift during day-to-day driving. So I think for me, it'd actually be better if I tighten it up with the car in a slightly more elevated position as it is now. So I'm going to go with that, tighten that up, and then we'll move on to the other side. Right, so we'll check the torques of those now. I'll find out what the torque settings are, but pretty bloody tight. But in theory, that arm is completed now. And we've got a lot less movement there than we did before, so that's really good. Should improve the way she drives a lot. I do actually have that kind of brake judder feeling that I was talking about earlier. When I'm braking from high speed, you get a little bit of judder, but it's not through the pedal, it's kind of through the steering. So I presume these lower arms might have had something to do with it. We'll find out fairly soon. So, torque settings, get the wheel back on, and then we'll move to the other side. So, torque settings for the arm to subframe bolt is 165 Newton meters plus 90 degrees. Normally you'd always torque on the nut end of the bolt, but this time we can't do that. It's physically impossible to get a torque wrench in on that end, so we're going to have to be torquing on the bolt's head, which isn't ideal, but that's all you can do. Okay, so that's our 165, and now we need to go another 90 degrees. We start with our bar here, it means we've got to go pretty much to the floor, and then we'll be at the right torque setting. So there's a lot of torque. Oh, I'm going to put my shoulder out doing this. Okay, that's as much as I want to go on that. But that's really tight. We've got probably 70 degrees there, but that's plenty. FT basically. Tie rod to ball joint nut. Looks like 80 Newton meters, which I think we're probably already at that from using the impact gun. But we'll check it anyway. I'm going to be hurrying up because it feels like it's going to rain. Yeah, we're already past that, so that's fine. Right, wheel back on, we'll do the other side.
22.
Look at you knowing the wheel nut size for a L322 Range Rover.
It's called practice. Oh, it is going to rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rain's coming. I can feel it.
So I'm going to do the left-hand side now, because it failed on both sides, unfortunately. It looks like it's going to rain, so I'm going to do this quickly. We're not going to record it. You've just seen me do that side. It's the same, but on the opposite side, so there's no point in showing it twice. So I'll get this done, and I'll be back to you guys when I'm heading over to my CVRT retest, and I'll let you guys know how it drives now. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to crack on. Can't see the arm now, it's gone. The suspension's gone too low. That over there is a pallet of what looks suspiciously like wheels and tyres. And here we are. These are not to all tastes, I'm guessing. There's probably about half of you right now that are going, oh no, what's he done? And the other half are probably looking at it going, yeah, that looks pretty cool. But yeah, these are 20-inch Defender wheels. I think they're style 6098. Dark satin grey, 5-spoke. Clad in the factory specification Pirelli Scorpion Zero all seasons. And these are a brand new takeoff from a new Defender. Somebody was lucky enough to be able to buy a brand new Defender and go, no, I don't want those nice 20-inch wheels. I'm going to put something even more expensive and better on. But luckily for us, that means that these takeoff sets can be bought by people like us for a fraction of their original cost. The wheels have literally, the tyres have literally got delivery miles on them. They're still brand new, still got all of their little rubbery nipples on. And there's not a mark on the wheels themselves. So suffice to say that I bought these off of eBay for less than the cost of the tyres would be to buy separately themselves. And we got 4 wheels in with that as well. So yeah, very good. Now the reason that I had to do this, well, I didn't actually have to do it, but the reason I have done it is because the Coopers that I've been running on the L322 since 2021 have actually started to delaminate. The sidewalls have actually started to separate from the tyre, which is really not good and quite disappointing actually for a tyre that's as expensive and kind of tough as the Cooper is meant to be. Now apparently there were a bad batch of those Coopers, and I'm going to talk to them and see if there's anything we can do in terms of warranty or getting replacement tyres perhaps. But when I saw that big split in the sidewall, and I'll put a clip in here or a picture for you guys to see, I decided I didn't really want to be driving around on them for too much longer. So I started looking for options, and these popped up. Let's stop mucking around and chuck them on. You can see how excited I am to do this. I've literally not even changed from my normal work outfit. I just want to crack on and get them fitted. There's not much that's actually more exciting than new wheels and tyres on your 4x4. Alright, that's off the ground safely. Crikey, you've done that up. Right, we seem to have about the same amount of weight on most of these. It's a funny looking weight I've never seen before. It looks like a piece of aluminium stuck to the inside of the wheel. This guy has got the biggest chunk of weight there that I've found, and he's got 2 actually, so yeah, definitely going on the back. It's a funny looking weight. Anybody know what those are? Love those centre caps as well. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Look, I'm liking the look of it so far. I think these Defender wheels have a slightly more pokey offset, whatever that is in the proper technical term. They have slightly more rim offset, so the rim is slightly further out of the wheel arch, which should give us a bit of an interesting look. I'm liking that. You can see a lot more brake through these 5 spokes, which is going to mean we're going to be able to see those red Brembos up front a lot more easily. Oh, wow, those brakes are super visible now. You have to make sure they're always clean from now on. Crikey, it's a bit sporty, isn't it? Right, let's step back and have a look. So yeah, date codes on all these tyres are 10/23, October 23, or that actually be week 10/23, so like February or March 23, it's probably more accurate. So maybe 2 years old, so not too bad, not brand new, but not far off of it. And they look absolutely immaculate, so yeah, very exciting. Okay, looking good. Let's get her lifted back up to normal ride height, if I can find the key, and have a proper look. Right, put her in neutral. roll backwards and forwards a couple of feet just to settle it in. First movement on the new tyres and wheels. How about that? Right, you guys can see it before I can. How's it look? So, as some of you guys know, I'm running an X-lifter in the suspension. So my standard ride heights that I'm running is about 1 inch higher than factory. So there's a little bit more arch gap here than on a factory car. But that actually looks really good. And you can see from the side angle, the side view, that extra bit of poke from these wheels. The wheels are still within the arches, but you know, they're definitely more proud than they were even with the L405 rims. So yeah, kind of a bit more of an aggressive look. I like that, looks really good. Lovely. I bet it's going to drive amazingly on these as well, brand new Pirellis. Woohoo! Right, let's give it a clean. Now at this point in the journey, you guys have seen me clean this car literally tens of times, probably 2 or 3 actually in reality, but what's one more? Well, my hose appears to have self-destructed. Yeah. Oh, look at that beading. That factory slime on them. Cool. Looks like a Land Rover advert. This car could do with another deep clean, bit of a polish. Last time I did it, I kind of mucked up a bit of the ceramic coating down towards the back there. It doesn't look quite right, a bit cloudy. So I would like to do that again at some point. Right, I've still not changed or even had my dinner yet, but I've got to take the car for a spin on the new wheels and tyres. It's just the law. I'm way too excited about a change as big as this to just go in and sit down and have dinner. So yeah, let's take it for a spin. My washer seems to have stopped working, which is always good. Right, let's head on up the road on our new rubber. So I'm expecting these tyres to be a little bit quieter than the Cooper Discoverers, although those were very quiet for a all-terrain tyre. These are a proper road tyre in all season, so they've got no excuses to be anything but perfectly quiet. I've also got no idea what pressures these tyres are at. They're just at whatever they were sent to me at, so I should probably get out and check those at some point. But right now, this is feeling rather good. They are, of course, slightly narrower than my old Coopers, 275 for the Coopers and 255 for these. But 255 should be plenty of width. I mean, it's not really a fast road kind of car anyway, but I certainly never wanted for any more grip on the road when I had the Coopers, and I expect these will be absolutely fine as well. Right, so pulling out onto the main road here, which have a quick spurt up to 100. Let's see how we get on. 100k that is. So there's 100. And yeah, with the roof tent on, I've got far more wind noise than I have tyre noise anyway, but yeah, markedly quieter than the Coopers anyway. Let's press on a little bit more. Yeah, perfectly steady on the wheel, absolutely no vibration at all. Tracking nice and straight and true. Lovely. Can't beat brand new rubber. Yeah, these are going to be absolutely perfect for all of the long distance cruising we're going to be doing, probably this summer. I have actually got a little mini camping trip planned this weekend in the Range Rover. We're going to be heading down to Kerry and maybe a bit beyond there, go down to the Ring of Kerry and the Dingle Peninsula, places like that. Do a bit of camping, do a bit of beach parking if we're allowed to. We need to figure that out. But yeah, be a good chance to get some miles under the Range's belt now that we've passed our test and got nice new wheels and tyres. So yeah, couldn't be happier. Really, this has been a really nice way to say thank you to this car, giving it some nice new wheels and tyres. I like to have a change up every now and again, change the wheels over, just to have a bit of something different to look at. And I know they're not going to be to all tastes, but you know, can't win them all. I think the people that want perfectly standard Range Rovers have probably left my channel anyway by now, so we're probably quite safe on that front. But yeah, all in all, I think a great way to say thank you to what has been an amazing car for me over the last 3 to 4 years. Like I've said before, I couldn't think of another vehicle that I would have wanted to own for this time and all the things that we've done in it. So that's probably going to head it off for this video, guys. I'm going to head back to the house. There is actually a terribly large pile of shame of stuff that I need to fit to this car, modifications and products that I've been sent to test. Speaking of which, we've got some more dash cams to test as well. And apart from that, I recently put up a video on the Range Rover Classic adventure that I got up to with Nick recently. Some interesting comments on that one. Probably best not to go into that in this video, but yeah, I don't know really why some people feel the need to leave negative comments like that, but there you go. The vast majority of them very positive as usual. So go and watch that video if you haven't already. We've got more content coming on the P38 Range Rover, which still isn't finished, but is getting closer and closer now. Determined to have it finished and tested this season, this summer really. And then finally, the big green Cummins 130 is now taxed, insured and ready to hit the roads. Literally all I need to do for that now is to put on its number plates, its Irish number plates. So yeah, that's going to be ready to hit the road. Bit of fettling and cleaning needed probably to bring it back to 100%. But anyway, yeah, over the moon with these wheels and tyres, and the fact that we've got another 12 months to ticket on the car. Can't wait to get out into the wild west of Ireland here in the next few days. And I guess that's going to end it off for this video, guys. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button down below. It does help the channel out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. So, bye for now.